I'm just going to be non-PC and just say, you if you're cheating.
Well, that was Nick Hawks. He's one of the members at the MOC. That's right, the Helium Manufacturing Oversight Committee. And why does it matter? They just banned Deeper for a whole year. And that's a minimum of a year, which means that they may never be able to get onto the Helium network. What does that mean for you and I? Well, for me, it means I can't get this little guy onto the Helium network. It is useless right now. And according to some of these guys, it may never work. But that's point number 3. Let's talk about point number 1, which is I want to show you guys what really is the difference between different Helium hotspots, right? Secondly, I want to go over the cheapest options out there because at the end of the day, as the network grows, rewards kind of go down. And the reason it goes down is because those rewards are being distributed amongst more and more people. So rewards are going to decrease over time. And lastly, that point number 3, which is WTF with Deeper, right? Like what happened? And on this video, I'm also going to do the drawing for that winner of the SenseCap M1, as I've promised. I like what Deeper is doing, what they're able to build, the things that are going on. And will I have negative things to say? Sure, because I'm not going to hold my tongue just because it's been beneficial for me, right? Like I want to be truthful. I want to tell you guys exactly what's going on. So my way of showing you guys that I actually do, like Deeper somewhat, and I'm being critical because I actually care. I'm going to give out one of these guys. So let's do a Deeper Connect Pico giveaway for this video. And it's going to be a silly little request. Well, 2 little requests. First request is smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm because it goes a long way and to make sure that people find this video and get notified when new stuff goes out, right? Like you got to subscribe, but subscriptions don't mean as much these days. So when you hit the bell, you'll find out when the next video drops. Now, the request that's a little bit silly is, how much do you think a Helium hotspot is worth? If you're watching this live as I'm broadcasting right now, don't put it on the chat. Make sure you put it down below. And don't cheat and fast forward and give me the price later. I'm really curious to find out what you guys think because it's important, right? And there's a reason why it's important. I'm going to share with you on point number 2. First, let's talk about the mining, right? When it comes to these differences with point number 1, there should be no difference. When it comes to mining, every hotspot should earn the same amount. They are designed by different manufacturers, but they are verified and approved by the MOC, same people that gave the boot to Deeper. Now, why does it matter if you get one unit or another if it's all the same? Well, that comes in the features, right? We're talking about the types of ports that they have. Do they accept power over Ethernet? Are they waterproof? And the biggest one, in my opinion, beyond all those things, really comes down to a dashboard, which I think is really beneficial when you have multiple units. And so far, SenseCap has had the best one out there, and I'm really happy with my SenseCap units and how easy it is to manage those units. So remote management, it's a big deal. Bobcat, since they're the biggest ones out there, they kind of are like working to catch up. But SenseCap by far has been my favorite so far. And I'll tell you why I say that in just a minute. But that's what it boils down to. You should not be earning less because you have a different hotspot than somebody else. Now, are there manufacturers that do things better than others? Absolutely. Are some parts going to be a little bit better? The type of antenna is going to make a difference? Sure, it depends on your location. I'll link a video up here so that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Because here's the thing. If they're all the same, what you want to do is be able to maximize your earnings. And for you to get your return on your investment, which a lot of people call ROI in this realm of crypto, which is kind of not the right way to use it, but that's okay. You want to make sure you get the cheapest unit as possible so that you can get your money back as soon as possible. Then after that, everything is going to be profit, which is why I bring up point number 2, which is what's the affordability of these units really look like? And I want to actually just grab it right out of this right here, which is the Helium.com. They have these hotspots and they list them. And just to focus on, let's say the top 3 most common hotspots, we have the Bobcat, which is going for $429. There's a 20 to 28 week wait on that. I don't know if you can really call that a cheap price for how long you have to wait. Then you have the one that I was talking about, which is the SenseCap, which I do really like their platform, how their dashboard works. And they have an estimated, date of April 30th, but it's always back ordered. So you got to wait for those as well. And then I did want to bring up, Nebra, which this is actually a link right out of the Helium network site, $862, which is kind of insane. I just couldn't believe that this was listed for this much. I was just like, what? Anyway, I digress. These units are costing more than $500. That's what's going on. And for you to be able to make that money back, it's becoming harder and harder and taking longer and longer. My goal is to try to help you guys learn how to become as profitable as possible with these things the same way that I am. I'm, trying to set an example so that you guys may be able to see, oh, he did that. Does it work? Does it not work? Should I follow his example or should I not? I'm not ever here to tell you what to do. And, the whole lovely disclaimer when it comes to YouTube videos, this is not financial advice whatsoever. But I do want to tell you why I believe in the things that I believe in, which is I believe that these units are a little expensive. Not going to lie, I really do think they're a little expensive. And I have been working to come out with a unit, and I didn't know I was going to do it in this video, but here it is. I've been working to acquire a miner that is reasonably affordable. I know that these manufacturers could drop the price, but they choose not to. So I worked really hard to bring you guys a $399 full hotspot. And no, I have not pre-ordered these. I have discussed it with the manufacturer. They will be coming out and everything like that. And it is going to be an action edition because they took longer than expected. Things are, again, this is how it always works. There is a delay on it. I'm not going to be able to get as many as I wish I was going to be able to. I am not looking at making a profit with these at all. I want to be able to get affordable hotspots onto the hands of people. That was my whole goal. And it's counterintuitive. I know accounting doesn't like it because it's not a moneymaker for me, right? Like, I'm not actually earning money on top of these. I just want to be able to give you guys something of value. Give you guys something that will be worthwhile long term, that is a better option than SynScat, Bobcat, Nebra, whatever you want to call it. So I do have a reduced amount of these that are going to be coming in, but there will be there is a manufacturer behind it, but it's an Action branded hotspot that will be $399. And I did work with fast miners to be able to actually get these things out. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you can get a unit now rather than later, do it. And I'll do it live. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. So these guys right here, they do have, SynScat units for $499. And if you go to Helium hotspots, they have things even cheaper than that. So I think the codecs, I need to bring up codecs to you guys because this is important. Because I did kind of bash a little bit of the MOC last time, but this is a price that I'm looking at, and this is not overstock. I actually want these units to be $399. That is their standard price. But if you can get a unit sooner rather than later, that's better. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to shill and say, oh, wait for mine, buy it when I sell it. No, you can get a discount on here with the coupon code ACTION. I don't get anything from it. I asked not to get anything from it because I wanted the savings and those rewards to go to you guys. So anyhow, that's besides the point. I just want to tell you guys that I am working on something special. I am making sure that there is longevity to this thing because it's important. And while we're talking about price, let's bring up this little guy right here. The original price was $600. Then Deeper went ahead and changed it so that the Deeper bundle was $600. That was my biggest critique from the beginning. This unit was too expensive at $600. I didn't talk about the Deeper HNT unit, didn't tell anybody to buy it until they actually lowered the price. When they lowered the price, yeah, it kind of made sense. But now we are where we are, and I want to disclose more information rather than less because you guys are going to go, wait, what? I think that's what's going to happen. And the things that I'm going to show you on screen, I'm going to link them on the description below because I think it's important for you guys to be able to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. So much so that I'm actually going to include the hearing to the MOC on this video, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that in a second. But this is what came of that meeting, and I will share my thoughts. These are my thoughts, nobody else's. This is just how I feel about things. I'll read through some of the literature that was put out, things that they wrote up on it, but I want to tell you exactly how I feel about this because it's important. So, investigation into Deeper Network, and this is out of the Helium Foundation's website, and it talks about everything that went on. They got their maker key in November They added almost 10,000 hotspots. All but 8 hotspots have never seen another hotspot outside of the Helium units. The burn transactions are also linked. So I got to explain how this works. So whenever a new hotspot enters the Helium network, $50 worth of HNT at that time is actually burned. So that's why more hotspots in the system actually helps increase the value of the token, because every new hotspot equals $50 worth of HNT that gets burned. It's a great idea to increase the value and have a little bit of deflation go on in there as soon as a new hotspot goes on. It's a great idea. I think that's one of the better things that Helium implemented, and it's worked. It's done well. But the fact that this wallet that is earning HNT from these miners is also the same wallet that burned up the HNT, that's questionable. And they did put that information up there so you guys could see what's going on. And again, I'll make these available. I'll take a look at this. This is the crazy thing. So deny list hotspots are accountable for, this is 76,400 and it's a bunch of HNT. At $20, this is like $1.5 million. $1.5 million. It's a lot of money. Now, I am a visual person, so these little things here really help. So, and these are the blocks. This is how much data Deeper transferred in comparison to everybody else. All right, that's one. Now, Deeper only witnessed other Deeper hotspots, which is not very common again. And yes, Hummingbird is now actually higher than Deeper, which is not good. This is the same witness receipts per hotspots. Again, not very common. And as a result, virtually all Deeper hotspots are currently on the deny list. Look at that. Look at that top bar on the right side there. That's a lot of hotspots to be on the deny list. So there is a pretty strong case. And there's a link down here at the very bottom of the page that I'm going to actually show you guys in just a second. Now, Deeper came out with their own publication to explain, we're not, in trouble. We're not doing this, on purpose. And they came out with an article. This was on April 10th. And I'm going to pause here and be honest and apologize. I gave Deeper a hard time for saying that they should have come out and said something about this. And I kind of still believe that. I think that they should have pushed it a little harder. What happened was that the MOC told them that they should not discuss what's going on until there is a resolution from the manufacturing oversight committee. And I understand that they should have at least addressed it, saying, hey, we understand that there are things going on that is outside of our control. We will work to, clear things up and get you guys information as soon as we are able to. That's it. That would have been enough. But I understand that, the MOC did tell them, don't want you guys talking about it. Please wait until the hearing. So I'm sorry that I was, critical of that. I understand that they couldn't actually talk about it. But the Deeper Network official announcement, talking about the Helium's MOC hearing decision came out on the April 10th, and they did, write it up, and it was quite nice. They did a good job. And this is where it kind of throws me off a little bit. This one piece that I highlighted. Part of this letter says that unfortunately, this distributor sold the HNT miners to mining farms who then spoofed the devices using third-party software in an act of gaming the Helium network. And they talk about this, the hearing was held, April 7th, and the decision was made shortly after. There's a lot of information missing on this document. On the 14th, and I'll bring this back up, they came out with a Deeper Network HNT miner refund or exchange. And what they're doing is saying, we are giving you a free Pico plus a Wi-Fi adapter to compensate people that still want an HNT miner and access to Midas, 926. Here's the deal. You guys can go on my Twitter and see what, we've gone back and forth, me and Midas, because they try to back up their product, and they've had trouble selling these things. I'm not gonna I need to be careful with my words because I want to make sure everything I say is public. They challenged me on Twitter, Midas specifically, saying that, hey, guess what? You're wrong. You don't know the data. You don't know what you're talking about. Asking if I had a degree in things No, guys, like that's not how it works. There's data. The blockchain is pretty stinking open for you to see what's going on. Even, within the documents that, Helium made available right there shows that you guys are not doing so hot. When I say Midas can't sell this, I'm talking from personal experience from somebody that was actually approached by Midas previously saying, hey, do you want to push our product? And I was like, I don't really push products. What's going on? And they basically said, we're looking to, hit this market, be able to do this and that. And I'm like, you need to fix your website before you do anything else. Like, there's a bunch of stuff you need to work on before you actually sell products. But let me know what's going on, because I hate to see you guys suffer, but it doesn't seem like everything is going the right way for you. Anyway, what is comical to me is if you look at what Deeper said, that you have an option. Option 1, a Midas 926 HNT miner in stock in exchange for a Deeper HNT miner plus a Deeper Connect Mini combo. So instead of getting a Mini and an HNT miner, you would only get the Midas. Or you can pay an additional $300 to get the Midas and, in exchange for your pre-ordered HNT miner from Deeper. And I think if you paid $600 for the HNT miner from Deeper, I believe, my personal opinion here is that you're getting ripped off to give $300 additional to somebody else. I just showed you guys the Fast Miners website. You guys can go buy an in-stock miner, get shipped like within 48 hours to you for way less than that. So no, this is not a good deal. Option 3, keep the Mini and refund the HNT miner for those who ordered the combo. Option 4, refund your whole order. I would just get my money and walk away from some of these things, if that's the setup, right? We understand some of you are disappointed because you didn't get an HNT miner after waiting so long. Feeling your pain, we have purchased. This is a turning point for me and why I actually got a little bit upset with what's going on, because I don't think they are feeling your pain. Because those units have mined $1.5 million. Not only that, they sold almost 10,000 units. They've made a lot of money. That's $2.5 million. So are they hurting? I don't know. I don't know how much they're hurting. I would guess that they more than broke even what's going on, which is why they're able to offer what they're offering right now. But it's just not a good way to say, oh, we feel your pain. And I'm getting closer and closer and saying something that I shouldn't say, but we're going to keep going on this thing because I think you guys deserve the full truth, right? I think that's just the way I'm looking at it. During this meeting, here's what I want you to to kind of follow. There's a few people. There is the CEO of the company. He didn't talk very much. There was 2 people together. That was Mia and Cheryl. And those 2 people are responsible for both signatures. Cheryl had a signature on the contract with the distributor. Mia signed off on this piece of paper, which is quite important, that I showed you guys at the very beginning here when I started talking about them. The Helium Network Manufacturer Ethics and Expectations. See, signed by Mia. So this is what it is. And it talks about you need to make sure that people are not messing this thing up. Manufacturers bear the responsibility to proactively report any potential game development by their customers, partners, insiders, or employees. And that never happened at the end of the day. Like, it just never happened. It never took place. It never happened, guys. And if you guys watch this whole thing, there is a ton of information. The reason I showed you guys Nick at the very beginning is because I really think that he did a great job asking questions during that meeting. I thought that the points that he posed were very valid. He asked a very simple question, like, anyone on the team understand, the Helium blockchain? And Mia and Cheryl basically ignored the question and kind of kept plowing through, talking about their own thing. Then Eric, gracefully kind of stepped in and said, no, we don't have anybody here that understands the Helium blockchain. I think they have somebody that understands the Helium blockchain enough in the back to be able to actually onboard these units, but their main team they don't get it. And this is where I can say that I want to give out this Deeper Connect Pico, because I think that it's a good idea for Deeper to keep doing what they're doing and get away from Helium, because they are just messing with things that they're not. It might be a good match. They could do a good job with it, but it's one more thing for them to worry about, and they're not really in the business of working with a different blockchain. They're in the business of building stuff out. That's what they're doing. So is it good for the people? Not necessarily. It's really good for Deeper themselves, though, that this is like the ending point. Because it would have been one more thing for them to be able, for them to support, and nobody likes to support somebody else's work, and I can see them struggling long term. Now, when I say that, there's a problem there, is because they have to abide by those guidelines that I talked about earlier, and they didn't. They cut off the contract with that distributor 6 days prior to the hearing. 6 days. So they got in trouble, and then they moved forward with canceling the contract. Something else that they completely missed the point on was the deposit pre-sale. You'll hear it, but they talk about a deposit. They talk about, it's not a deposit. They just did a deposit. It wasn't a pre-sale. We're not pre-selling your devices, but you took money from somebody else before you got approval from the MOC. That's a big no-no, which is why I was saying, I've been working with a manufacturer that I researched, I looked into, and they've been in the business for a long, long time. And I said, these guys know what they're doing. They're able to actually to come out with the product, and I'm going to reach out to them and have a conversation with them about this. Keep going, keep moving forward. Did not give them money because they needed approval from the MOC. That's important. But these guys, they actually took money before they were supposed to. But what I just couldn't comprehend was the fact that they ignored it. That's a big reason why, some of these people have gotten in trouble. For example, Rebull, they talked about Helium back in the day and they got in trouble. There's a lot of people out there that can get in trouble for not following these rules and guidelines. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Deeper, they just, it's fine. I signed it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. That's a problem. If you're working with somebody else, I don't want to go back to the Planet Watch aware, debacle there, but it's stick to the rules. Contracts are written and made to be followed so that everyone is happy. Not what's happening here. Not what's happening here at all. Right? That code of ethics matters. And I don't know if they didn't care, they didn't read, or what it was, but here's a question that I have for Deeper. Why did you prioritize, I know why they did it, money. Why did you prioritize the distributor and, sell 10,000 devices to somebody before shipping out the people that pre-ordered? Money. That's the answer, because they actually admitted to getting a down payment of $1 million in crypto. Really, really nice thing there. But which brings me back to a few months back when Codex got in trouble. Well, I need to explain. I stand by what I said before, that I thought that was a bad decision to ban Codex the way they did. I think that they did a pretty good thing allowing Codex to onboard people that had already purchased. Personally, it didn't work out. Well, it worked out okay for me because I got a mouse site instead of Codex, but only the EU units were available at that point. I didn't get my US unit. But now it's different. There's a better understanding of how things are supposed to work. There is also, which is really important that sometimes people miss the point, there's a ban list. This is what I was talking about when Codex got in trouble. There's a ban list. Much, much needed ban list. And this is very different now with Deeper because the amount of people on the network, there are only 8 units. And that does not count my unit. Because by the time I was trying to onboard this thing, I was done. Couldn't do it anymore. There was no point. So there's only 8 units out there that were not gaming the system, which is awful. Awful. Just awful, awful, awful. And I want to make sure you guys understand that it's an ever-changing system. It's an ever-changing platform. It's not ideal. It's not perfect. But as always, I want to give credit where credit's due. And I've mentioned this in the past, and I'll say it again. I think Jeremy did a great job trying to be, I don't want to say the middleman, but managing the conversation during that hearing, because he wanted to make sure that everybody got their point across, that everyone said what they had to say. And that's the reason why I'm going to include the video to the MOC hearing so you guys can actually see it, because I think it's really, really critical for you guys to understand what took place and make your own conclusion. Come up with your own thoughts behind this, because I can talk all day about what I think. But pay attention, see what you think, because they completely ignored the point of the pre-sale. They try to give excuses saying, no, this is not, it's not our fault, it's these people. And even though these people are the ones burning H&T for me, which I can totally see that point too. It can just be Deeper doesn't know what the heck is going on. And they're like, how do I burn H&T? I'm not sure. Let me go ahead and just let them do it. They blindly trusted somebody, and all of a sudden, poof, they got screwed, which is very sad because they prioritized this person over the customers, over the people. That's, if you're going to talk about a pet peeve, something that I'm not thrilled about, that's it. So let me roll the tape, and I will say this one piece of, if you guys have questions, Helium has a great Discord, got a ton of jerks on there, and a bunch of really wonderful people, because it's a Discord, so you get all kinds of people on there. If you have questions, hit them up. If you have questions for me, like I have a Discord as well, go over there. Like, I'm always on there. And let's talk about scammers real quick. There's so many people creating new accounts and try to say, email me at, something at gmail.com. There is no Gmail account for Action Crypto, Action CEO, Vic. All of those is me, and there's no Gmail account. So if anybody's telling you to email them, WhatsApp them, whatever it is, it's not true. The only things that are real are the Discord, which I include a link inside of the description every time. There is an email, but that email is just like business stuff. I don't actually get around to answering emails directly. There is my Twitter. That's basically it, guys. So don't get scammed. There's terrible people leaving all kinds of crazy messages. And I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. So let me just roll the tape. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because that's how people are going to find this video. That's how people are going to kind of learn like what this thing's all about. Because I can tell you right now, I talked to a bunch of people that are like, what's going on Deeper? But they don't listen. They don't care to do their research. So hopefully I'm providing a little bit of value to you guys, and all I ask in return is to smash the like button. So let's get right into this whole hearing thing, because it's a spicy one.
Just a quick introduction. My name is Eric Ma. I am the CMO of Deeper Network. And we also have here Mia, who is the head of sales, and our co-founder, Cheryl, wearing the glasses, and let's see here. Also Russell.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the avatar was changed by my son. Yeah, I need to change it back. Sorry.
Okay.
Sure.
So, and Russell is our CEO. And I'll be doing the presentation today. And co-founders Russell and Mia will be helping answer any questions that we might have, that you guys might have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my introduction.
Yeah, we. Do you want to handle manufacturing oversight introductions there, Jeremy?
Sure. So I'm Jeremy Cooper, the current chairperson of the Manufacturing Oversight Committee, and we'll let all the other members of the committee introduce themselves. Maybe starting with Sophie, since you're closest to the square on my screen.
And I'm also unmuted. Hi, I'm Sophie Kravitz. I'm a member of the Manufacturing Oversight Committee. And I think I've spoken with many of you at Deeper before. Nice to see you in person.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I think I'll punt it to Patrick.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Van Eyck, and I'm also a member of the Manufacturing Oversight Committee.
Hey, I'm Nick Hawks, also a member of the Manufacturing Oversight Committee. Hello, everyone. I'm Felipe de Almeida, known as Phoenix in the Discord, and also a member of the Manufacturing Oversight Committee.
What? That's it for
Brad
the
Lane.
mock. Oh yeah, Brad.
Brad Lane. I'm also a member of the Oversight.
Awesome. So great to see everyone's faces.
And why don't we introduce the working group who wants to be presenting there today? Joey, you want to kick that off?
Yeah, so I'm Joey. I'm a technical director at the Helium Foundation, part of the security working group. My role here today is sort of to act as a bit of the voice for the evidence that the community's brought forward. So trying to sort of show the side of the things that the community is sort of, the action that they want. Evan, go for it.
Yeah, and my name's Evan. I'm also an employee at the Helium Foundation as a data engineer, and I'm involved with this working group as well.
Great. Nice to meet you, Evan.
Great. Jeremy is our MC.
Yeah, okay. So it's hard for me to see everyone who's all set. So thanks for those introductions, everyone. I'm going to set the rules of conduct here and work through how this is going to be presented. Hopefully this will be pretty easy to do. So this hearing is the first of its kind. But nonetheless, it will use a really formal structure, and it's designed to give both sides on this hearing a fair and equal chance to present the evidence for their case. So it will use a lot of a hybrid adversarial and inquisitional justice process. So the adversarial side of that means that these proceedings are mostly going to be a debate between what I'm going to call the prosecution and what I'm going to call the defense. And the MOC will simply act as judges and ultimately the deciders of the outcome of the case. But the inquisitional part is that we as the MOC will interrupt you when you're presenting with clarifying or further questions. And please be prepared for that. Don't be alarmed. It just means that we're engaged and really want to get the message behind it. However, please, there cannot be any interruptions from the other side. We're going to be holding this in 6 phases, and you'll be given multiple chances to address anything that you feel was said unfairly or is incorrect by the other side. But it's important that each side is allowed to present to the judges what they're saying. So again, any interruptions can't be tolerated except by the judges ourselves. So we're going to do this in 6 steps. There'll be an opening statement by the prosecution, an opening statement by the defense, and there'll be a detailed presentation, again, by both sides, the prosecution and the defense, and finally, closing statements by the prosecution and the defense in that order. Christina, I might need your help remembering the time limits we had put on here, but let me talk about what an opening statement is. It's going to be limited to some number of minutes. It might be just about 5, and it's just a summary of the evidence and conclusions you'll be supplying with your presentation. So it shouldn't go into too much detail about the evidence. And really importantly, you're not making any statements in your opening statement that can't be backed up by the evidence that you're presenting later during the detail phase. Now, in the detailed phase, it's going to be the longest. It's where you might have a slideshow, talk about all of the evidence that you're bringing forward. And again, it must be evidence that was presented to both sides beforehand so they can both see it and know roughly what you'll be talking about. You don't have to go into detail what you were going to be talking about. That's where you make that effort in your detailed speech. So that's going to be the biggest part of the time. And this is the part we'll probably be asking a lot of questions. And finally, after both sides have provided their detail, they then go into providing their closing statement, which is just like the opening statement. But again, it's just your last chance to stress those things you are important and downplay the things from the other side you think are not important and why they aren't. And again, make a close to your case. So with that said, Christina, hopefully you've had time to look up the amount of time we provided for each phase.
So 5 minutes for the opening and closing statements each, and then 20 minutes for the presentation for each side.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess that means 5 for closings. So
Jeremy, hang on a second. We got one person that we haven't introduced to. I think will be important to know, and that's Neil. Neil, you want to take a minute and just tell us about yourself?
Sorry, I forgot. I was looking to see who was in it before I introduced, but just PFG Neil, they call me Neil. Just a community member, part of the working group, security working group.
Great.
And Molan as well.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty much set. So again, 5 minutes for opening statements, and Christine will be our moderator to make certain we're on time. And with that, I think, are you ready on the working group side to present your opening statement?
I rarely go over time. I like to keep things short, so get right into it. All right. So as we said, I'm Joey, covering things from the working group side. First of all, I just sort of want to open this up to sort of make the statement that the Helium Foundation, Helium Network really takes no joy in sort of bringing this type of action against a manufacturer. It's not something that we feel reflects well on the network. It's sort of a moment of distrust for our users in the network. But unfortunately, the emphasis that we have to put on proof of coverage security sort of outweighs this sort of moment of uncomfort here. And so through the evidence that we've sort of gathered, we will be trying to make the case that Deeper has never actually acted in the interest of the Helium network, and that these gaming hotspots have been doing so since day one, and that this in and of itself is a harm and distrust for the network. And I will remind the MOC that as we sort of hear these arguments, that it is also in Deeper's interest as the manufacturer in this scenario to also moderate and observe their distributors. And so we will try to paint a picture that there is a clear involvement from Deeper in the relationship with the with the distributor. But worth always keeping in mind here that it is not the responsibility of the POC security working group to observe and sort of police the network. In fact, the working group didn't exist at the time that Deeper began producing hotspots on the network. And it is unfortunate that this group has to exist, but it does. And we will do our job as best we can. That's my statement.
All right. Yeah. And you can always yield your time. I don't think we have to fill it up, and it will be a full schedule. So
yes. Yeah. I'm sure we'll get into it later on, so we'll save those moments.
All right. Well, Deeper, and your representatives, if you want to make your opening statement now, please do.
Sure. I'd like to start with a big thank you to the Manufacturing Oversight Committee and the Proof of Coverage Systems working groups for your time and for listening and reviewing our evidence in this hearing. We at Deeper Network we're a Web3 company, and we're based in Silicon Valley, California, Santa Clara to be exact. And our main focus as a project is to provide a more secure, private, and fair internet for everyone. When we had the opportunity to become an approved third-party manufacturer for Helium, the entire team and the community were ecstatic. We were not only excited about having the opportunity to be part of one of the world's most promising Web3 projects, but we also knew that we could contribute to the project as well, as far as in the security and the anti-spoofing features to Helium with our devices. Fast forward to our first sale of the Deeper Network HNT miner in 2021 to Juan Information Technology, a leading international Helium hotspot distributor who became an early stage exclusive distributor for Deeper Network and the Deeper Network HNT miners, to be specific. Unfortunately, and unbeknownstly to Deeper Network, Juan Information Technology took part in gaming the Deeper Network HNT miners on the Helium network, causing the eventual suspension, which is the current situation that we're in, and basically suspending our onboarding keys just a few days ago. We at Deeper Network are against spoofing of any devices on the Helium network and strongly disagree with Drawn Information Technologies actions. The Deeper network acted ethically and never at any time participated in the spoofing of our own devices. Not only is it against our beliefs as a company, but these actions hurt our image as a company as well. In the following session, I respectfully ask the Manufacturing Oversight Committee to hear and review our evidence on this matter and make a fair and consistent decision in unsuspending our onboarding key and allowing us to provide the Deeper network HNT miner to the Helium community. Thank you very much.
Great. All right. Well, with that, it's pretty simple. We will go into the detailed phase. So I suppose I should encourage our judges to ask any questions. There shouldn't really be any at this point. If there are any burning ones or any procedure parts that we should go through, yeah, I can't think of it. It's just a summary. So I'll hand it back to the working group for your detailed presentation. And Phil, I want to make certain that screens can be shared, Christina, if need be, to help for slide stuff. So it looks like I have permission. Just want to make certain both sides to have the ability at any time.
Yeah, everybody should have permissions to share the screen.
Great. Go ahead.
Okay, Joey, I'll kick it off. So I have some slides to share here. Can just make sure everyone can see the screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Yep. Nice and readable.
So the key points that we want to address here, this is really a very data-driven argument on the POC side that, first of all, Deeper's hotspots have been exhibiting this very highly anomalous behavior that provides, at best, this is providing little utility to the Helium network and its overall goals here. At worst, it's a sense of true institutional gaming with only malicious intent. And the key pieces of evidence here are that Deepers do not actually participate in any meaningful way in transferring data for end devices, which is the whole point of the Helium network. And then also Deepers only witness other Deepers in a way that's very disproportionate relative to the number of hotspots that are online and comparing to other manufacturers. And we'll look at some evidence of both of these. This activity is also consistent with what we understand to be patterns of institutional gaming on the network. That requires a lot of coordination, and the scale here is pretty significant. And this is not, just the POC security group, the Helium community through this deny list, which is, the mechanism by which the community itself can demonstrate really its distrust of both individual hotspots, but in this case, demonstrate its distrust of the entire manufacturer by banning virtually all of its active hotspots. And I think that's the reason that we're here today. So to this first point, again, it sounds like from my understanding of Deeper's explanation and the opening statement that it isn't really up for debate that this distributor or the Deepers on a large scale have been involved in this gaming, but just want to highlight kind of the severity of the case here. First point is that Deeper hotspots do not transfer data from end devices. So of course, the whole goal of this network is to provide reliable coverage for LoRaWAN end devices, sensors, and trackers. Of course, while Helium is in this sort of bootstrapping phase, it's understandable that not all hotspots would actually, have devices that are transferring data through them. But, if we kind of compare each manufacturer based on what ratio of the hotspots that they have online are participating in this data transfer, Deeper ranks dead last in this category. So, based on a recent sample of blocks, 5,000 blocks, 3 out of nearly 10,000 deepers actually participated in transferring any data credits on the network, whereas we see most manufacturers, somewhere between 10 and 30% of their hotspots are engaged in this activity. Despite deepers being asserted in nearly 10,000 unique Res 8 hexes. And so what that means is this is actually a pretty conservative estimate of coverage provided by a hotspot. So a Res 8 hex is about 500 meters of edge length. So this is saying basically a hotspot can hear everything within 500 meters. On this metric, deepers uniquely cover over 7,000 kilometers squared, 1.76 million acres, conservatively estimating what's covered by these hotspots. So this is significant here, not just in terms of what showing a lack of utility provided to the network, but it's significant in terms of what we understand about gaming on this Helium network. So we don't actually see data transfer being a significant way for malicious actors to take advantage of the network. And this is because the way the burn mint economics work, it actually ends up being a net zero gain. So whatever you earn in mining HNT for data transfer, you end up having to spend that on the front end of the transaction. So, we tend to not see very much data transfer in gaming deployments.
Evan, this is Nick Hawks. Do you mind if I interrupt for a second? I've got just a question. I can see the graph. Can you give me an idea of how unusual this is, maybe numerically? So I can see the graph. It looks pretty clear that the deeper's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, but how unusual is that? Like how far off the norm of what you'd expect?
Yeah, for this, I don't have it for this metric, but for the next metric, these are activities on the order of 3 or 4 standard deviations from the mean. I think it might be even more extreme from this case. So that's saying relative to the network overall, it's less than 1% possible that we would see sort of this type of behavior occur naturally by pure chance, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
So this next point, I think, has been brought up by the community, and I know Milano's here, who really did a lot of deep digging on this point specifically. And this is this point that deepers only witness other deeper manufactured hotspots at virtually a rate of 100%. So this chart is saying we take, in every POC transaction, there are kind of 2 actors there. There's a beaconer and there's a witness. And so we count up all the occurrences in which the beaconer and the witness are from the same maker. And then we normalize that by the number of hotspots that manufacturer has on the network overall. So this is important because, if, let's say, Deeper composed 90% of all hotspots on the network, it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect that this sort of same maker witness ratio would occur. But we have to keep in mind that by normalizing this way, we see that despite making just 1.5% of the network overall, it's extremely unlikely to see this rate of same maker witnessing by pure chance. And so again, this is almost 4 standard deviations away from what we see on the network overall. And so this again is a pattern of clusters are set up to only witness each other. And we saw from the data transfer graph that they're not actually set up to witness end devices despite earning all these rewards from gaming the POC algorithm. And so as a result of these types of behaviors, this is really the community making an indictment on this manufacturer. Again, despite making up about 10,000 out of 700,000 now hotspots on the network. Deepers comprise over 50% of the deny list at this point. Extremely disproportionate given their population on the network overall. I think this is all I had from the data side. If Joey, you had some more points to make.
Yeah, Jeremy, how are we doing on time?
Yeah, I yield that to Christina, who I.
There's about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah, so Evan sort of ran through the data analysis, the blockchain side of things. There's a couple other things that we've extrapolated in our sort of research leading up to this. One of these is that we saw this gaming happening from day one. So hotspots that were onboarded in the early days of the deeper maker key were just as implicated in the gaming as the ones that were onboarded, a week ago. And it is, of my opinion, and I do sort of yield to the manufacturing oversight committee on how uncommon this is, but that the first hotspots that are produced by a manufacturer are typically not that of production grade or quality. Those are prototype units that you typically onboard and test, and they often live in sort of close proximity of the warehouse or the engineers that are working on those devices. And typically we see those set up for several weeks at a time before any final manufacturing takes place.
Joey, do you have a count of how many of those you think are, in your estimate, the engineering samples?
So we see there were 3 hotspots added to a wallet initially. And so this is the Narwhal, Dog, and Porpoise, which I believe everyone should see the sort of evidence list. Actually, I will screen share since we're in the interest of screen sharing. So this is what I'm looking at here. Is there were a number of wallets that we've seen do burn transactions back to the deeper maker key, and of those, 3 of these contain hotspots actively, and 1 of them previously contained hotspots. The first 3 hotspots that have ever been added via the deeper maker key were added to this 13HF wallet. And then subsequently, all of the following, sorry, Evan added this for me. Yeah, so roughly the first 27 hotspots were added to these 2 wallets. And all of those appear in deny lists under the same cases that we saw with all of the others on the network. So I want to call this out as this being evidence here of the sort of institutional implication of this. And of course, we will hear a deeper side of this. But then sort of
just to make sure, sorry, Joy, just to make sure I understand what you're stating here. So the initial hotspots that were onboarded were into one of those wallets identified as gaming, and they burned tokens back into the manufacturer's wallet. Is that what you say the evidence you're showing?
Yes. So the way we discovered these wallets was these were all wallets that made burn transactions into the deeper maker key. And then chasing that thread, we discovered that all of the first hotspots ever onboarded were attributed to those wallets. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
And then sort of furthermore, at the time of April 1st, we saw 76,484.95 HNT removed from the network. via these denied hotspots. And this is excluding the approximately 8 hotspots that we've deemed to be likely out in the real world. And we attribute those 8 hotspots with likely having been seeded to content creators. So the time that those hotspots came online appeared to coincide with tweets and things like that from the Twitter thread. Is there anything else that we should add, Evan?
I think that covers it.
Okay, I think we can yield our time unless there's any other questions.
In your figure of the 74,000 H&T roughly removed from the network, did you see, is that meaning it went to an exchange, one of the known public exchanges, or it's just that's the estimate of the rewards that were earned?
This is the total rewards earned. So portions of this were moved to exchanges, portions of this were moved to other places, portions of this were burned back into the maker wallet and used for the purpose of onboarding.
One question, do we have information about the amount that was burned into the maker wallet? What percentage of that?
I don't have it on hand, but it is actually easy metric to pull if we will. Is that allowed?
I'm generally of the idea that everything in the blockchain is allowed.
Blockchain is blockchain. All right, I'm going to share my screen.
Both sides are. It is a shared.
We will discover this together here. So we need hotspots, we need makers, we need deeper. So we see, and for full transparency, this number reflects pure tokens burned in the interest of sort of feeding the maker key. So this is HNT that may have come from exchanges and purchased. It could have been mined, it could have been transferred in. So this doesn't directly answer your question. I just want to be clear here that this is not a good factor for that. But we see 19,104 HNT, or approximately $426,000 worth of HNT burned in the production of these hotspots.
And I see that would be consistent with being able to onboard additional 168 hotspots.
Yeah, so all of these added plus that headroom. Yep.
Yeah, the question was just how much of the gained HNT had been burned, but it was just my doubt regarding that part.
Yeah, and full transparency, I don't have that number.
But you are asserting that you did see tokens burnt from these gaming clusters into this maker key.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would be happy to probably go into that maybe later on the call. We'll give Deeper a moment to talk on it before we bore everyone with queries.
Sure, I think it could be
to dig into there.
Given in the closing statement as a rare exception, but we do want to adhere to I guess if both sides agreed to have an additional rebuttal. But
I'd be happy to provide the SQL queries. Unfortunately, our ETL is taking a little break.
Okay, well, if you want to yield it over to Deeper for their detailed presentation, I think that'd be fine with everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'd like to share my screen. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Assuming everyone can see okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I don't need to share just yet, but this is evidence for a little bit later. Let me share a different screen, sorry. So on October 1st, 2021, which is last year, we signed a distributor agreement with Juan Information Technology, which included payment terms and device quantities. And I wanted to share this particular distribution agreement with you guys. Okay. So you guys can see this is the distribution that was signed and dated at the bottom. And it talked about different quantities of miners and the costs and shipment details. They worked in Chinese, so we were able to produce this in Chinese for them. Okay, it goes to the bottom so you guys can see. They had paid through TRC.
Just for the record, I don't speak Chinese, so this is understandable for me. So if you can explain as much as you can as you're going through, and it sounds like you are, but I just want to make sure that's clear. Like I don't understand any of this other than obviously the Western characters.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Sorry for
Eric
interrupting.
doesn't know Chinese as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I don't. Sorry, I can't read it. I'm gonna let Mia explain the agreement. I'll go back to the top, and then you can kind of tell me to go down.
yeah, I just give you some like highlights of what's the important terms in this contract. So basically, we signed this contract with Juan like in October 1st last year. And then they have agreed that they will just pay us the deposit like in October, even before we get the authorization of the manufacturer for the HNT miners. And they agreed to pay us like $1 million by the end of October 31st. And we set a target for them if they can like fulfill like in 5 months for 20,000 sets of HNT miners before the end of April. And so we will consider to grant them the exclusivity in the market, in the Chinese market. So
just one question, sorry, when was that amount paid by them?
So they paid us before the
November, I think.
No,
I have the data in the presentation later, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, you said they paid when you did the contract, right?
It's like deposit,
The deposit.
Yeah, they made the deposit. When was the date of the deposit?
It's October 11th.
October 11th.
Yeah, because we gave them the deadline to put the deposit before the end of October. We reached the agreement that if at that time when we signed the contract, we are during the process of application. Actually, we almost get it. So we reached the agreement that if we got the manufacturer, they're gonna have 180 days to get the to place up to 20,000 orders from us. If we got denied from application, we're going to fully refund them for the deposit. So basically, that deposit is just to it's a deposit for being exclusive distributor for a certain time.
Yeah, it's a pre-sale for before. Okay.
Yeah, and we actually at that time when we signed the contract, we did some research about the distributor that they actually contributed a lot in Ethereum and for IPFS Filecoin as well. They invested more than $50 million in Filecoin mining. So we believe that they are a qualified distributor, and they said they have global marketing capacity because their co-founder is in Silicon Valley and one is in Shanghai. So that's the situation when we signed the contract. Go ahead, Mia.
Okay, so so Sherry just gives a little bit background about like Juan. And overall, so after Juan paid the deposit, so we starting the collaboration, and also like batch by batch we deliver. So they kind of pick up the
for safety concerns. Yeah, because those mining rigs are very expensive. So we give them in total 10,000 mining rigs in total. But we had already terminated the contract April 1st once we noticed that the spoofing behavior of them from the deny list at the beginning of April. So we communicate with them, and we have already terminated this contract, and we are during the process.
I get into this. Let me continue to present then.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So this is
May I just want to point something out. The mock approval, the date was November 1st.
Yeah, we know, because we said that if we haven't got approval, we're gonna fully refund them. So it's like it's not a pre-sale, it's just a deposit to lock the exclusive distributor position between us.
That's a pre-sale with the right, as soon as money changes hands, that's a pre-sale with the right to refund in certain conditions. But continue, please.
Okay. Yeah, actually, in the contract, we said the deposit can be used for the first batch of mining rigs we delivered to them. And the first mining rigs we started to sell to them, it is in November 9th. Yeah. So it's after we got the approval, because before the approval, we don't know that if we're going to be qualified to give them the mining rigs. So that's just a deposit to lock the position. It's a contract about that. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Eric.
Okay.
Eric, I've got a question. So I'm just trying to get my dates right here. It sounds like you guys started shipping these things in, let's say, late 2021, but it wasn't until April 1st, which is just 6 days ago, that you decided to cut off the contract with these guys because you noticed they were gaming. That seems, if I'm getting this right, that's an awfully long time between when it was noticed they were gaming by the kind of general community and the time that Deeper decided to cut ties with them. Am I missing something there?
Yes, because we haven't noticed that they are gaming until we find the spoofing behavior from the deny list. Eric, you can.
I get into this.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Dren fulfilled their payment terms of 10,000 units on November 18th, 2021. And the actual units that were sent were Chinese frequency 4,623 units. US was 3,963 units. Europe was 1,264 units. And there were 105 that were not asserted. I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah. But it's after we got the corresponding certification.
That's right. And then Deeper Network HNT miners were shipped then to Dren shortly after that. During this time, the Deeper Network observed the entire process, and we didn't really notice any out of the ordinary or unethical behavior from Dren at the time. Let's fast forward to March of 2022, which was last month, when we started to see an increase of spoofing on the Deeper Network. And on March 8th, let me share this image with you. Okay, so here you can see on March 8th, we noticed 422 hotspots on the deny list. And we were concerned. We communicated, we contacted Dren directly about this. And their response was that the 422 is a small number of spoofers compared to some of the other end users who were spoofing using other manufacturer hotspots. We're showing this not really to condemn any manufacturers. I just want to make that clear. We respect all the third-party manufacturers, but this is mostly in defense of the situation. And
Eric, do you have these figures in terms of overall makeup of the network? For example, Bobcat has some hundreds of thousands of hotspots, and on the deny list, it's 978. Do you have these figures balanced that way?
Well, I think being new kids on the block to the Helium network, we really believe that the experience, what the international distributor was saying. And so at that time, we didn't really think about it like that. We just saw it as, okay, we didn't really compare it like ratio, like the way you're describing, but in hindsight, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially after the presentation that was done earlier. But
okay, I understand.
By March 9th, the number of deeper HNT miners decreased from 422 to 166, making it even less of a concern at the time. It made sense to us what the manufacturer, I'm sorry, not the manufacturer, the distributor was saying. And based on further discussion with them and their explanation that nothing is out of the ordinary, we didn't really intervene or butt into the situation as much. And it wasn't until late March when we noticed an alarming amount of deeper network HNT spoofers, which is when we decided to immediately terminate the distribution agreement on April 1st with Dren. And you can see that here we had made an announcement that we had terminated our contract with them.
Eric,
I've got one question. Go ahead, Sophie.
Yeah, Eric, would you mind as part of your evidence sharing that communication with us from March 8th?
Yes.
You can just forward it, I think, to Jeremy or to Christina.
Okay.
Thank you.
And one other question.
And also to the working group, though, too.
Yes, of course.
Has to share with all parties.
Sophie, sorry for interruption. So for the communication with John, like in March 8th, so we can share the record to you after this meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. And someone will share it with everybody.
Okay.
Sure.
So I have another question I need to ask if it's okay.
Go for it, Neil.
So you are, Jan were the only official.
Hold on a second here.
Wait.
Sorry, Neil. Unfortunately, because you're on the prosecution side, it's not about questioning each other. If you do have something you want to raise, it's going to have to be done in the closing arguments phase. That's just this.
No problem. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're all figured out. So I've got one more question. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. Is that you guys were Deeper was using as their metric for cheating whether or not a hotspot was on the deny list, but you weren't using the data that was available on the blockchain. So it was just the deny list. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, that was the main thing that we were looking at. And according to Dren, that was kind of the main metric that we should look at.
And also one thing is on March 9th, so we realized that the gaming deployments were already all cleared from the deny list. So that makes very difficult for us to investigate the situation. It's just one day.
Got it. Is there anyone on your team that looks at or understands the Helium blockchain?
So basically, we just tell the spoofing behavior from the deny list, because we see that from March 8th, we are only less than 1% of the, the number of the mining rigs on the deny list, right? So we communicate with them, but they said, if we can tell from the deny list that there are more than 20,000 of PentaX on the top, and just for one day, their data is all cleared off. So it made us very confused. What is your standard?
I think to answer Nick's question, none of us here are Helium experts, and I don't personally understand blockchain. I think, the rest could probably be saying the same. I think on the deny list, those kind of numbers make sense to us. We understand that. But in terms of the blockchain and actually understanding it, looking at it from that point of view, we're not as much of an expert as you guys in that sense.
But Deeper does have their own blockchain, so you do understand the technology. Is that right?
Yes, to a certain degree. I mean, as Chief Marketing Officer, I have a very general understanding, a high level understanding. In terms of the technicalities of it, it would be the dev team. They would understand most of that. And a lot of times when they try to explain things to me, it kind of goes over my head, to be honest.
Yeah, and Sophie, and we use the case of March 8 and 9, and this is just to express also we also a little bit confused about the criteria, the standards of the deny list, because we have 422 in the March 8, but it's all being cleared up. I mean in the 24 hours. and what is the logic behind. And we don't know the standard.
Got it. So I'll just ask
by looking at the numbers there. on
What
that,
you just
I see
mentioned
it.
for the blockchain technology, it is totally different for Deeper's blockchain technology compared to Helium's blockchain technology. It's a totally different stuff. And we know about Deeper's technology, but we don't know about Helium's standard, especially what is the spoofing standard. It's not very transparent to us. So that is why we feel very confused.
Can you show us again, Eric, to the first slide? I do want to point out something here that's curious to me in the number slide. Yep. From the 8th to 9th, I see overall just drops everywhere on the number of each manufacturer. It's roughly everything kind of drops to about 10% of what it was before. To me, that looks like it's something the denial list in general just dropped, everywhere across the board. It didn't actually point to Deeper becoming less of a problem. It looks to me just like a technical glitch or something in there where something was changed in denial list and lots of things came out. But the relative proportions I see here, Deeper was 422 hotspots. Deeper only dropped to 1/4 of what it was before. The others had dropped to 10%. That's what I'm seeing. So,
in a certain way, in
did
the
you
ratio
notice that sort of
Deeper
difference?
increased.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
Let me back up. I'm sorry, guys. I got one more question. Can Eric or whoever's got the general answer, how much, and this can be close, how much money has Deeper spent to be a part of the Helium network? Whether when you add in your wages, manufacturing, like everything, what do you think is the investment to become a part of Helium?
I don't have the numbers on that. I know we spend a lot of time and energy on the marketing side and money.
For R&D, it's definitely for R&D and for the marketing promotions and all the events to attract the traffic from the website. It's very difficult for us to measure, but actually we invest a lot, not only for the employees, for the R&D, and we invest a lot for supply chain. So you're supposed to know that, right? So it should be millions of dollars for that.
Okay, so let's say we just go with the one number that you've presented, which is you signed this $1 million agreement. Is that, if I'm understanding this right, you guys spent at least $1 million, but you didn't have the ability to understand the blockchain. And so the only way you could understand it was a fairly superficial way on this deny list. There wasn't any investment in understanding what was kind of technically required. And maybe that expertise is not on this call, but surely that's somewhere in the company. No one spends $1 million and is like, well, let's just see what happens and not know what's going on.
But Nick, this is I think we are trying to express this is different cases, Deeper know our own technology about the blockchain. But the thing is, I appreciate that you share the links of the GitHub. But at the time, in the early March, when we see this, we don't know, we are very confused about the logic behind. We didn't know why you drop off there's a huge amount of.
Yeah, you just told us it's dropped off. The data all clear to zero. It's all dropped. And what's your standard behind that? It's all not transparent to us, right? It's very confusing.
Yeah. Announcements or explanation to us so we can maybe better prepare. Because at that time when we see this, we immediately communicate with John, with our distributor. But we saw the list. So many people have a super higher number than this. Then probably, and they told us that they can be done by the end user who buy quite a bunch of miners. So
Brad, I see you have your hand up. Please just interrupt because you're in the judges and it's important that you talk.
Yeah.
Brad,
do we know?
Hey guys. Hey, hold on.
Do we even know why it was reduced to 10% or?
Please accept the judges' interruptions at the moment.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Brad.
I want to come back to this question. So you guys, were granted the approval to bring Helium compatible product on the market. Irrespective of the deny list, can you guys explain what Deeper was doing in terms of monitoring your own product? And there's a requirement, in terms of a manufacturer doing what we call fleet management, making sure firmware upgrades are done. And as part of that, I would expect that you guys would have wanted to see the performance of your product overall on the network. And in doing so, you probably would have seen anomalies yourself, just going through that basic responsibility of being a product manufacturer. So can you guys just real succinctly explain what you do for fleet management? And do you have people on your team, that are assigned to monitoring the performance of your product and making sure they're performing as expected?
I'm sorry, I'm not in a place to answer that. I mostly handle the marketing side. I apologize.
So who actually did the software engineering on the product? I mean, at some level, you guys did get the product to pass, the basic interoperability. Were those resources on your engineering team, or was it outsourced to a third party? Can you be specific there?
I think it was a little bit of both. We do have full-time devs, of course, and we have different departments within our dev community or our dev team. A lot of them are focused only on our deeper chain and our own ecosystem, while others, a small portion was delegated to doing Helium stuff. And I'm not really sure exactly how many were outsourced, but yeah.
Okay, just to confirm the question.
To me, I can't question. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know this. Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Yeah. Deeper, it's manufactured in Shenzhen, and we don't have human resource there for testing. So, Jinhuan, yeah, they did the testing and said that the product is okay. Yeah, they did their testing work. The first 30 prototype, yeah, was ordered. Actually, was ordered by Jinhuan. They do the outsourcing testing for us. Yeah, they want to do the testing. They want to see the product is qualified. Once they say yes, it's okay. Okay.
Okay.
So, I have a different. Yeah.
Go ahead, Felipe.
If that part is clear, so you basically monitor it through the deny list and not do a specific your own engineering monitoring the blockchain itself. But my question going back, the deal with this distributor was they were going to distribute these units in China, correct?
Yeah, actually.
What frequency did you have approved when you shipped to them the units?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we can produce and ship CN470. So after we got approval for the US 915 in November 1st, after that, so we're starting to ship it or then pick up from John. And also on February 3rd, we got the certificate. We got the approval for EU 868. So after that, we're starting to deliver the EU model to John.
But Juan was supposed to do the selling of that product in United States and in Europe as well.
Yeah, they have their global distribution network.
Yeah, I had the breakdown earlier. I had mentioned in China it was 4,623 devices, US was 3,963 devices, and Europe was 1,264 devices to Juan. Okay. So I'd like to continue, if I may. So after we had terminated the agreement contract with Juan, it was also decided at the time by the board of Deeper Network that we will no longer manufacture or sell any of the Chinese HNT miners, which was aligned with similar to the marketing strategies of our Deeper Connect devices. We decided to focus on the US, EU, Australia, and other regions with the HNT miner.
Sorry, what date was that?
That was shortly after, so it's probably the first or second, or it was in talks before that already. But the actual
termination of the agreements, you mean?
The termination of the agreement was on April 1st.
It's April 1st.
Yeah. They asked when the exact time we decided we will no longer manufacture Chinese or the CN470 HNT miners. It was short. It was probably around the same time. And
again, just spelling it out specifically, that is which date with the month included? So we're not confused.
Maybe
April 1st.
April 1st, same time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What Russell was mentioning earlier, I want to show you guys this. This was the 30 early prototypes were sent to Juan for testing, and 4 wallets were created by Juan for testing purposes. These were the wallets involved in gaming and were used to own by Juan from our investigation. Okay.
So you're saying you did no testing at all on your side before shipping the testing units to the distributor to verify the quality?
It's not about the quality, We verify the quality by our, by our manufacturing, the company. They do the radio, the certification, radio testing. But for the deploy, the miners, we don't have the ability and the human resource. They have human resource, and they tell me they have very large space to test the miner. So the Helium miner is cannot test in just in one house, even in a factory, right? They need large space. We don't have the human resource. For the real, we do the in-lab testing, of course, to pass every test in our in-lab testing. But for
So can you explain to me that basically I'm not going to pronounce this one. Juhan was not only distributor, but also a major partner in testing and deploying the device, is what you're saying. You needed that help.
Yeah.
And also it's important that because Juan is our first partner, because they are the first one, like they paid the deposit to us even before we got the approval. So, and we partner with them for sure, because like what Rachel mentioned, that we have done everything we can for the in-lab, for the in-house testing. But for sure, when the distributor, when they are experienced, and when they distribute before they distribute in their network, they will test it in the environments.
Yeah, I understand. It's difficult for you to do the radio testing in your environment, so you offloaded it to them, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, and then they had mentioned from the very beginning with part of our negotiations that they were very experienced in this. They also had experience with other third-party manufacturers of Helium hotspots. So we had put a lot of trust in working with them and helping us kind of this whole process with the HNT miners. And so that's basically what it came down to.
What were the other manufacturers for Helium hotspots that they told you they were making for?
Maybe distribution. They weren't making any of them, but I think it was for distribution.
Got it. Who are they distributing for? Do you know?
I don't know personally. No, I wasn't part of the negotiations there.
So they are like they have sell like IPFS miners that they invest like about like $50 million in IPFS mining before.
But no Helium hotspots, correct?
They have the experience. They tell me they know how to test it, but they don't tell me the details. They tell me that they know how to do it. They have the experience.
Okay.
Did you do any vetting of this distributor before you decided to partner with them? Like, how did you determine that they were going to do the right thing by Deeper and be an honest, trusted partner?
Yeah.
Let me answer this question. So first of all, we've been knowing them for quite a long while. About 3 or 4 years ago, we met them in Silicon Valley. And this contract was signed by their company in Shanghai. They have one partner in Silicon Valley and one partner in Shanghai. So we actually, we've known them for a long while, and we definitely know how they contribute to the Filecoin network. Because if you check the history, that they used to buy lots of Filecoins for staking as well. And they invest a lot of money to the network. So one day IPF coin price increased about 40%. It's all because of their contribution. I will say that they are very capable in wealth, right? So they make a large deposit, and they said they have their own channels of distributions because we know that they prove themselves in IPFS network. So now it's proved to be a mistake. They are not a trustworthy distributor, and we don't know their spoofing behaviors. But at that time, before we got the certifications for other countries and regions, that is the only trustworthy distributor to us, because they, after the long talk, they show there lots of capacity in marketing, global marketing strategies, and the proposed to us as well. So that's why we trust them.
Everyone, I want to do just make certain we're adhering to our rules, and I'm certain we've probably gone over 20 minutes for a detailed presentation. I think everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, we're
I'm wondering if anyone has been keeping track.
How we expand our market as well for other.
Yeah, so I do want to give you a chance to really get through your presentation.
Go ahead, Eric.
But I do want. Yeah, I just want. Christina, do you have any sense of how far we've actually gone? Because I do want to give the other side as much time as you've given in their detailed phase, since they did. So I just want to get to that. Do we know how much time we've gone over, and roughly whether the other side would like to make more details?
We have gone over a little bit. I don't have the exact time, but I can get it in a second.
Okay. Just letting you know that we should be at least wrapping up this phase. So go ahead, please proceed.
Okay. So as a part of our distributor agreement with Braun, the first batch of the HNT miners were all sent to them. And due to manufacturing times limitations and the whole logistics issues we had set our time to 8 to 20 weeks lead time for pre-orders on our own shop website for the community, and leaving us enough time to ship the HNT miners to end users in the USA and in Europe in early April. And you can see here in this slide that tracking numbers and units sent to our US warehouse, which was just around the time that the suspension came, coincidentally, and the DHL tracking numbers are there. And then also between November 2021 and March of 2022, our official site had received nearly 2,000 pre-orders from the community, over 2,000 pre-orders, and from end users, we had around 3,000 units from distributors as well. So we have over 5,000 units that already ordered.
Eric, you've said this happened, and I'm using your words, coincidentally around the time of the suspension.
No.
Did it?
Yeah, shipping, the actual shipping did, because our plans were aligned where we were going to start shipping in April. And this was all on the website.
Yeah, maybe I can give more information about this shipping stuff. So we actually, we have already received the orders from our end user from our official site since November last year. So we set the time as between 8 to 20 weeks, and then keeping to our promise, we have all the supply ready. So it's be shipping from China to our warehouse in the United States. Like it had arrived in the warehouse in the first week of April already, and we have another 3,000 HNT miner. They're on the way. So we plan to ship them out to our EU warehouse and the US warehouse to make.
So can I ask you about these tracking numbers? Are these tracking numbers of items actually in transit that have left? Or are these tracking numbers just of printing labels that have been printed?
This you can check online. Those are the three
the thing that I can't see online is whether they've actually shipped or whether you've begun the process. Like anyone can generate tracking numbers by
for that. We can screenshot to the shipment details.
Yeah, this parcel had already arrived in our US warehouse in April 4th. The tracking number that I gave it to you on this slide, those are already in the warehouse already.
And my question here is, again, you started shipping, or you sent out a lot of shipping notices to customers, as you're searching here. And this happened coincidentally, you're saying, before the suspension was announced?
Of course.
Yes.
Because
if you push back from the 20 weeks from when they first started to order, the end time is around April. So it's, if we didn't ship in week 21 or 22, I mean, the community is already very impatient. And if we had exceeded our own limits of 20 weeks, then we would be in very bad position. So we
Yeah, I understand. I just want to make certain whether it really was before, in your assertion that it was.
Yeah, because usually it takes like at least 3 weeks for us to ship from China to here, including the customer clearance. So, because we have everything ready by the end of March, and it just takes a longer time because there's a COVID as well, right? So it takes longer time than expected, but it's most like about 3 weeks. Then arrive in our US warehouse. And also the later batch of supply is coming up because we speed up of the production and try to fulfill the growing market, the growing demand from our end users and also our new distributor partner.
Yep. Okay, so you can see on the next slide here is the shipping that has started to happen. And as part of expansion of our growth of the network for Helium network, and we've also already partnered with over 30 new distributors just in Q1 of this year, and I can show you our distributors list.
Just for the record, this I think this gets shown to a bunch of people. Is let's make
sure we may have to
billing and all those
customer
names.
information out of this. This is going to be publicly shared, so if we can back up. I guess it's okay to share with us, but try to also make a summary. If you can.
Yeah,
I with the names in, you can redact that. Yeah,
my bad. Okay.
So backing up, you have a list of shipping orders.
Yeah, so overall, so we have already shipped out like more than 100 units of HNT miner to our users in the first week of April, and we are still shipping them out because we have because all the communities is just pushing us. So this is the whole Eric is presenting. This is the whole list of the end users from our official site. They are the real users. They are waiting this for some of them waiting this.
Please don't share that information in the screen.
Well, this is redacted. This one I think is better.
Yeah, we have shared this the evidence list last night when I sent the email. It's in the list. Yes. And also there's another slide that Eric just shared that there's a lot of information with the tracking number, and those are the ones that we already been shipped out. And the puzzle is on the way, and we are shipping out the rest of them in this week.
And then these are the other distributors that I don't know if can you guys see this window?
We do. It's a PDF window, just basically listing company name and region.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe let me just give a quick information about this. So overall, since the end of last year, and we are trying very hard to developing new distributors globally. So by far, we have already 33 new distributors worldwide, and they would like to collaborate with us for the HNT miner sales. And actually, we already sold out. We already sold pre-orders to them in the past months. And also there's another file in the evidence list show that all the screenshots of the email communication with them regarding the HNT miner deals. So you can check details from that list as well.
Can you just show the shipping numbers again? I just missed the third one. I want to just check something.
Shipping numbers
in your slide.
Okay.
Oh no, later one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, from the posted video, we can cut this out.
Okay.
Yeah. When did you ship the EU and US versions to your distributor?
We ship it on Tuesday.
The first EU to the first distributor, the first EU units you sent to them was on Thursday? Didn't you say it was part of that initial batch?
Are you talking about the new distributor or the
No, the original one. When did you send him the first 915 and the first 868 units?
Oh, I can give you because they have been picking up the orders from our warehouse.
Large orders.
I just want to know when were the first EU 868 and then US 915 units delivered by you?
Yeah, the first batch of US 915 is in November, like in the last
After we got the
November.
approval.
Yeah, it's like around the mid of November, and the
Okay.
other from the EU is like the early of February. It's like around the February 10th. So they come to us and pick up directly from our warehouse.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me just finish up here. So closing remarks. Oh, that's for later. So this is basically the end. I wanted to show you guys kind of like all the investments we've also put into our own devices and why our reputation is at stake too. So spoofing on the Helium network is not something we're interested in. We're spending a lot of R&D, development, manufacturing, and also marketing on our own manufacturing of our own devices and the marketing of them. We have minis, we have picos, we had another generation called a nano, and we were recently on even, on Box Therapy with 18 million subscribers. I flew to Toronto to do an interview with him for the first time. He's never had, an interview like that before. So we were very, blessed to have that opportunity, and we continue to try to do everything right. And it's really unfortunate, I think, in this situation, but I'll end here because I have my closing remarks later. But thank you for hearing us out on this.
Yeah, we will certainly have more, other closing remarks here. So it's looking like we kind of spent 30 minutes on the detailed side there from Deeper. And we probably only did perhaps 15, maybe even 10 minutes just on the prosecution side. I don't know if that's a rough estimate. I know that is a rough estimate. I'm wondering if it sounds like there might have been more details on the prosecution side. If you had anything, again, within the evidence that you had previously submitted. I know Neil had some statement he wanted to make, but again, we can't really permit direct questioning between the two. So if there's any, I think there's some time for more detail from the prosecution side, perhaps 10 minutes at most. And then we would move to, I think would actually be closing statements from prosecution. Yep. So we can kind of merge those two together if you want, and then we'll have closing from Deeper. So yield it back to the working group, whoever you guys have nominated. If you don't have any more details, you can just go into your closing statement.
Joey?
Joey, I'll just say that I don't have anything that wasn't presented, anything else that wasn't presented ahead of time.
Neil, you had something that you had, was it a statement of additional piece, or like what was it you were trying to say?
It was a question, so I won't ask it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny doing this on Zoom because you don't get that opportunity to like huddle. Yeah, I mean, Deeper, thank you for sort of providing a lot of context here. I still have concerns around sort of just a lot of the actions that have happened sort of on chain and in the real world, in the way that really the last several months have transpired. There are still outstanding questions on what happened, like why there were burn transactions from your distributor wallet into the maker key. There are still outstanding questions on why the distributor was received your first hotspots sort of straight off of the line as a rare occurrence. I lost my other note. I also find it suspicious in this scenario that the distributor was somebody that was trusted to do global distribution when by our current read, which I always welcome a little clarification here, but they didn't seem to have any proven track record of distributing globally. And their previous experience was largely in crypto mining and to an extent at which there was no physical product involved. And for that distributor to receive CN 470 coded hotspots, but additionally, almost 4,000 US coded hotspots and 1,300 or 1,250 EU hotspots speaks again to me of an intent to do things that were not actually the intent of the network there. If this was truly a Chinese hotspot distributor, they would be buying Chinese hotspots to sell in country. If they were selling US hotspots, I would have expected a real solid understanding of knowing that those hotspots were being shipped and distributed to customers.
Can we interrupt here, that we're still in that space?
It's totally fine. Yeah, as long as it's questions to the prosecution.
I've got a question. I think it's for Evan, and it's about the data, which is why I think it's for Evan. Do you have any idea of when it first became, let's say, like at least one standard deviation off of what you would expect for a non-gaming hotspot? Is there a date there where it started to become obvious for anyone who could read the blockchain that there was potentially a problem?
From my understanding, at least from the attributes that I look at with like the data transfer was, I don't think, ever happening. And just I went back and checked on that, like the March 8th date. There were no hots. I think in the one that I showed of more recent block sample, it was 3 out of the 10,000 were transferring data. At that point, it was 0 as of March 8th. I'd have to do a more robust analysis to go back.
Okay, is there anyone else in the working group side who has an idea of what the answer to that might be, or even general, as far as when did it look like from a person who can read the blockchain that, hey, maybe we have a problem here? Like, what date? Was it kind of the April 1st area, or was it almost immediately, which is what it seems like to me? If there's no data being transferred within the first month, I'd think there'd be an obligation on the manufacturer side to be like, hey, what's going on here? But maybe I'm missing something. I'm totally open to being wrong.
I don't have that number. One of the things that I want to call out is that the proof of coverage security working group has not existed more than a few months. Evan, correct me on the exact date there. And furthermore, it's not actually the responsibility of the POC security working group to tell the manufacturers what they are saying on chain. This is an opportunity for us to sort of self-secure the network. We are.
Yeah, Joey, I think what Nick was saying was not putting any responsibility on you. What we are trying to understand is, if I'm producing a hotspot and I'm monitoring the fleet that I produce, when it would be expectable that I notice something wrong, just if there was any data regarding that. No pointing fingers.
Yeah, little hiccups in tooling and things like that, but it looks like before March 1st should have been a date that we would have seen some sign that this was happening. I think it's important to note that this is us detecting the issue. The method of gaming appears to have been unchanged from more or less day one. That you don't have an entire network of hotspots only witnessing themselves for the entirety of the time that they were on chain without it's the same thing. So
without some sort of signature in what's going on. Yeah, I mean, we looked at the same maker witness ratio, but you'll also see that these clusters all suspiciously are asserted such that they have optimal transmit scales, which is the method through which we incentivize a more sparse distribution of hotspots. But in reality, I think it's pretty clear that the act of gaming here, the attack vector, is that these are all asserted in one location. They may or may not have real antennas, and it's kind of they're only witnessing their one little cluster.
We'd be happy to submit the
Evan,
query to the MOC
yeah.
just for further research.
There does be a combination of two things here. One is denialist, and the other is just your on-chain observations. And I want to make clear, it's your assertion that this disparity in witnessing, that the 99.97% self-witnessing rate, that's not about the denialist. Is that correct? The denialist is a separate thing. This is data that was visible before the existence of the denialist.
That's correct.
Okay. Still leaving it. We're in. I just want to make certain there's enough time. If you want to yield and sort of have this be your closing statement, I think that's fine. We still have a few more minutes just to keep on par with on the detailed side. And what will happen after this? After your closing statement will be Deeper's closing statement, and then that we will adjourn to review this recording and talk amongst ourselves as judges and to come to a decision. So just giving you that impetus and in your closing statements, really to make succinctly the case that you're going for, and again to address, do you think the weaknesses on the other side or strengths in your own? So is this your closing statement? Do you want to make one more?
Let me close our closing statement
all right,
with sort of the action that I would expect to see here, is that, this action, whether an oversight or an intentional action, did result in damage to the Helium network. And that damage can be quantified in the number of that 7,600 some odd.
I think you quoted 76,000.
76. I don't have the number off the top of my head.
I would think the numbers off. So sorry.
We'll
it's 76,484.95 is what's in the document, just for the record.
Yes, thank you. So this is the damage that we have seen to the Helium network. And I think it's our opinion of the Proof of Coverage Security Working Group that this action is something that is fully qualified for the permanent shutdown of a maker key on the network. If the Manufacturing Oversight Committee does not deem that action worthy, I would recommend a full repayment of that gamed HNT back to the network to be burned out of existence, and subsequently a rate cap on hotspot assertions, sort of for a period following. So I would expect something along the lines of 12 months of a limited number of hotspots able to join the network, possibly with a lockup until that fee has been paid.
Yeah, just to let me know, generally the MOC is going to really decide what consequences there are, if any. If the things are proven and the allegations are strong enough. I don't want to put on either side to really stress what you think the consequences are. I should have mentioned that earlier. As adjudicators, we're trying the facts and whether we think it's true, and the punishment, if necessary, is up to the MOC. Of course, you can plead for various things, but I was going to say try to leave that out. And just adhere to
concludes our closing statement. Thank you.
All right. Deeper, it's your time to issue your closing statement. And again, it's a summary thing. It's your time to answer any of the things just made in the last statement there. This is really your last phase and last chance to really get your word out. So with that, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will just make the closing summary. First of all, thank you very much for giving us a chance to openly discuss everything then here. So first of all, we want to say that Deeper Network, we ourselves, we haven't engaged in this spoofing games, but we realized is our we used to trust this Joanne, this our distributor, very early distributor. We trust their global promotion, marketing, and capability. We used to believe that they can help us to expand or to sell our products very fast and worldwide. But we realize this is not the facts. And also, as we just mentioned earlier, because we are confused about the denial list. So when we realized the first time when we see that on March 8th, the reason we explain why we didn't take like a very immediate reaction of like dive into the list, because first of all, we have communicated with them. And of course, and also the second day is all been cleared up. So there's no standard for us to digest this. And after that, so that is what's happening like in April of the 9,000 units, right? So overall, I think we have to be responsible for this distribution management. So that's why we take very immediate action. We terminate the contract with them, and we make the announcement publicly of the termination with this partnership. And we will do the refunds to this distributor because the miner doesn't work, right? So we will do the full the refund to the distributor as well. So we will take care of that part. And second of all, it's very important to know that, as we mentioned, that there are 5,000 customers that are waiting for the products, and part of them have already received the product. So that many of them waiting for 5 months and 4 months for this one. And you know that Deeper, we have a very big and also growing communities. So like everybody knows that we partner with Helium since the last year. So those users, it's really important that we have to take into consideration of the users who participate in this whole projects for like almost half a year. So that's very important. And also we have 30 distributors. And as you can show from the evidence, they are placing orders. They have already placed the order with us. And some of them already starting to do the promotions and to do the sales in their own websites. And people are already placing the orders from there. So we are really care about those customers. And also, so we hope that you can consider that we have 5,000 user bases to involve in this whole like projects. And the third part is that, as mentioned, that Deeper is a very is a well-known blockchain project. So now we have already we have over 65,000 active users in the world now in like over 150 countries now. So so we have well-known, and we have a very fast developing Web 3.0 ecosystem and project. So that's the one that we are heading off. So, and also it's important that as a leading cybersecurity company from Silicon Valley, so we are not interested in, or we are not capable of doing any kind of this spoofing infraction, because what we are coming from is like cybersecurity, and we want to give the users a fair and also secure network for our end users. And also it's important that Deeper Networks, our cybersecurity technology, and also our decentralized network communication features can provide more nodes and application scenarios for the development of Helium network. So it's really will be, we think it will be really pity, and it will be a waste of opportunities and to deny all of our our potential nodes, and especially those users, as I mentioned, 5,000 users, they're already in this game, they're already in this project. So so we hope that those innocent users, they have been waiting for this, they cannot be, and they should not be cut off in this way. So overall, as we mentioned that, so we hope you can just consider what we deliver, and we will deliver what you request for the further evidence within today, and to show that what we have done with John, and also what we have worked with our end users in the past 5 months. And overall, we think that a Helium community needs we hope if we are working together, we hope we have a very better knowledge and a clear understanding of everything, including the denial list, so we can better prepare for the spoofing game. And of course, we will take into a very so actually we are now already taking to very quick actions about like selecting a very qualified distributors. And also we are verifying any of them of their sales channels, if they sell to the end users, and how they are promoting our products, and how they are communicate with their communities and users of different network. So we are actually doing that in the past 4 months. So you can find every new distributors in the list, and that's what we are working on with that part. So for sure, the distributor qualification and management will be a very important topic for Deeper. And this is also lessons learned for us for this case. We feel very bad about and very bad about the whole situation. And this is a big lesson learned for us. So yeah.
Deeper, at the heart of the matter here, one of the items does appear to be whether the Deeper was aware of the actions of this distributor, and an attempt to show the distributor did this on their own without Deeper's knowledge. There is one item I am curious about which was presented, and that is the token burn, which is that these wallets, again, you've asserted that the hotspots were owned and operated entirely by this distributor to their own benefit. Can you explain why there was a token burn back to the maker key from the proceeds from these admitted gaming clusters back into Deeper's wallet? Is there an explanation for that? That appears to tie that distributor's action directly to Deeper's benefit. And it goes to the heart of the matter whether that distributor really is separable from Deeper. So again, do you have an explanation for why those token burns were performed?
I know the details. Yeah, first, Juan is not our distributor. She is very early, the partner. Actually, we trust them, and they help us to test our 30 products in their real environment. This is what they tell us. And the token actually from is bought by Deeper. We have that transaction. We bought by Deeper, and we send the token to tell them you do the test. We pay the token. Yeah, this we value for the full wallet going back to the maker. Yes, here's the whole story.
So again, did your assertion that Deeper bought the tokens on an open market and then transferred them to Juan to then burn back to Deeper's key?
Yeah, this we cooperate to the real environment testing. We cooperate to do the real environment testing. They provide the human resource. They provide the space, and we provide the token. We buy the token. And we don't know that wallet, is using for spoofing. Yeah, we just give them I remember it's this not a lot of token. It's 50,000 like that. We use that token, and we tell them it's 50,000 token to do the testing. If the token not enough, we will buy more. If the token has left, burn back to the maker account. Yeah, this will.
Could I ask? You're saying that you bought them on the open market, and you bought them with transferred them out into Deeper's controlled wallet. Is that step one? Deeper bought them, and then
it's not Deeper controlled wallet. That wallet is controlled by Juan. They tell that wallet address. We transfer the token to them, and they do the testing for us. The Hotspot.
I want to stop. You're saying you transfer the token to them. It sounds like they bought the tokens. Is that correct?
No. We bought the token. They helped us do the testing.
I see. And you transferred them out from the exchange. You directed the exchange to transfer the tokens to their wallet.
I don't know the details because I'm not by the token. Right? I'm the one by the token. What I know is that money is paid by us, or the testing is done by them. If the token has left, they have to burn to the market, the maker account. If the token not enough, we will provide more token. They help us do the testing. We cannot let them use their money to.
Can I interrupt you? Was this information provided prior to this meeting? Like how this worked?
I'm not aware of either side presented. I mean, I do believe the prosecution did show that there were token burns.
I just want to make sure I was understanding what was getting presented.
Yeah. Brad, you've had your hand up. I know, again, we're in closing arguments, but I am allowing it.
Yeah. So my question, Jeremy, I think is actually fairly related to what you're digging into there. It seems to me like the distributor in this case was actually, fairly active in helping Deeper productize the unit, at a full functional level, including like exercising the token burns and, so I come back to my earlier question, which I don't feel I ever got a clear answer on it in terms of Deeper's kind of engineering capability to maintain this product by themselves. And I guess I would just like clarification, if how much of the kind of the system level product management, fleet management has been done by resources at Deeper or resources at this distributor? And, how does Deeper plan to continue with a product line? What's their strategy to support the product moving forward, without having the technical expertise to even understand how it's working on the network?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, Deeper is also a growing company. We cannot make everything right at the first time, right? Even for some big distributors, they come from at a very small size. Yeah, we need the early partner to help us. But now with more resources and with more engineering footage, we know how to do the how to analyze data from deny list. If the standard more clear, that's better. We know how to take data more detailed. Yes, we need time to grow. But now I will say that Deeper will not depend on one partner. We have more resources to do the testing. Even in the US, even in the EU, we have our community. They have more members to help us for the real environment testing. But at the first time, one partner help us. This is normal. Yeah. I don't think that's
I don't think anybody has an issue with having a strong partner help, but I think what I'm trying to understand is the strong partner that had expertise that helped you also is a partner that you've terminated now because of the situation. So I'm just it's unclear to me how that hole gets filled. And when I asked earlier, the Deeper team couldn't even clearly articulate, where the engineering team was that was going to support this product. Yeah. And it's still not. It's not. I understand
Yeah,
I understand you guys are growing and you can grow that expertise, but it's a big concern. Yeah. There's already 10,000 units shipped. You have
we
have
interpreted, but this strategic partner is only help in the real environment testing. They don't involve in the hardware design, software design, in lab testing. That's environment testing. We already mentioned it. In-lab testing and all the development, we already done by ourselves. And for the next real environment testing, now we have a lot of people, we have a lot of other distributors can help us. The Helium deployment is much more difficult than other kind of project. This is why we keep growing our marketing. We keep attract more distributor. We keep attract more community members.
Okay, we understand that now you are growing, you are building up the team, but just to clarify this point, in the beginning, when you started this part, Yuang, I think it's how you pronounce it, the distributor, was actually your active partner, and you partnered together with them so that you did the production, but they were the ones doing all the radio testing and in the beginning, and they were the ones up until now, they rescinded, that did all the testing in the field. That is correct?
I'm sorry. Nia, can you answer the question? Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, so I think Philip. So I think we have early elaborated. So we have done all the in-lab tests already for radio frequency everything, because we have to apply for certification. We have to do everything by ourselves. But as Rachel early mentioned, after that, this one cannot be like fully. You have to test in the real environment, right? So that's why what we have collaborate with Juan like last year end. So they are helping us to do the further test in the real environment.
Yeah, I would call it more like field testing. It's not certification testing. That was performed by labs. So again, what Felipe appears to be asking is, yes or no, did you rely entirely on this distributor to do the field testing after it had been approved and pass certifications? This is the only partner that had the capability to do the field testing to see that these were working as good miners.
But yeah, it's not for now, but that's like last year end. So when he's our only partner, like he's the only one who pays us in advance, right? So so we partner with them. Of course, they want to make sure like this item is really working like what we explained, because they believe our project. They see the potential of us. That's why they pay the money first. That's the only one we can work with at that moment. So we done everything we can do like in our lab. Then we leave some samples to them and test. So if everything goes all right, so which means this product can be used by end users. So that's the overall. But for now, of course, there's going to be a different story.
Okay. I do see you have your hand up, Joey. It really should only be that something like you've got to go or the timing's off. It can't really be a direct question. Is that still okay? You can ask a question of the judges.
Can I ask judges?
I know this puts a very constraint on it. It's just how this process works. Okay, I guess you withdraw. All right. Again, yield it back to you, Deeper. In your closing statement here, I think we're getting closer to resolving anything.
Sophie's up.
You're in there, Judge.
I just want to clarify. I think we've clarified this a lot, but the partners Yuan, I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. They tested the Deeper hotspot on the blockchain. They did everything technical. There was nothing on the Deeper network team that you were able to do technically to make sure that the hotspots were acting as you expected them to do. You put that full responsibility on your distributor. Is that correct?
I think the whole story is not like we put the whole responsibility on them. Like we mentioned, like in March 8th, right? Because before March 8th, everything goes well. They place the order and we ship to them and they keep on placing the orders, which means they sell it to the end users, right? We didn't realize anything wrong. So only on the March 8th and 9th, we realized something, then we call them. But because we are not only trusting what they say, because we are reviewing the whole denied list. They are as they
Sophie
said.
was talking about the initial units, I believe, when you did all the engineering, correct? Did all the design, manufacturing certifications, but they were the ones totally doing the field testing, actually onboarding the device, burning the tokens, all that process of onboarding and actually getting the devices working on the blockchain was entirely done by them, because you have no hotspots onboarded directly by you. They were the partners that assisted in that test. Is that it?
Yeah, I think like after we finish our lab test and we send the samples to Juan, right? So when Juan they test everything, and of course they're gonna onboarding the device like in the Helium network. So we can see that in the Explorer, we can see it went well in Synchronize. It has like daily earnings, so everything goes well. So that's why we rolled out, right?
Yeah, that's what Sophie was asking. I believe they were the ones doing those initial tests of onboarding, showing the Explorer. You had no initial units yourselves being onboarded and showing on the Explorer. Is that it? I believe, Sophie, was that what you were asking? Yeah.
Of course not. Yeah, actually, we already, yeah, even we want to test in the field. We even rent the office, which is that is from this power. It says there's a lot of hotspot there. We rent the office there. We put we rent 3 office and we put 3 hotspots there, but we see there are no hotspot. We test. So what we can test is that the data syncing. That worked fine, and we also see the data transfer. We did all the tests we can. But we cannot do the large scale, like the 30 hotspots. Yeah, we did the test for the small union. We have only one person, technical person in Shenzhen. Yeah, it also outsourced it. We can show the picture if you want to see.
I think you can submit that as evidence if you can do it right away, as long with that other email that someone was going to send, I think, to whoever that you have. Yeah.
I don't really have any more questions. I do want to respect that we kind of have gone an hour over we expected to. Anybody else, at least on the judge's side, have questions or important points you think that need to be made? Or again, questioning of Deeper here. Brad has to go in 15 minutes. Felipe. Patrick, you've been remarkably silent. I want to make certain to prod you if you have anything in mind.
No, I don't have any specific questions, but thank you.
Right. I've actually got one that just hit me. It was just out of curiosity, who's doing the light hotspot testing for the deeper light hotspots that'll come up?
Yes, that's a good question. Actually, deeper hotspot is a light hotspot. As you know, deeper has a USB extender, right? That's a light hotspot already. If we design a new hotspot, it will be exactly the same as this one. Yeah. So there will be. Yeah.
Okay, you're saying that this is the hotspot you have, and you won't be doing another one, but this is a full hotspot.
No, deeper project is not the same as others. It's just we provide a USB extender. If the USB extender worked with light software, it's a light hotspot. With the full minor software in the deeper connect, it is a light hotspot. It's the same hardware.
Yeah, I think you can help phrase it. Felipe, you're aware that the Deeper Connect, I believe is the product, has an extension where you add via USB the Helium miner component. And that's where the concentrator card is and the
But it is a full hotspot syncing the blockchain. It's not a light hotspot, right?
Right. So I think our question is, who's been doing the firmware development to make certain that the existing full hotspots can become good light hotspots?
Okay, yeah, actually it's our another technical guy in our team. Yeah, he's not here today.
Does that answer it, Felipe?
Yeah, it was Nick that brought the question. I was just trying to clarify. Sorry.
Yep, I think we've kind of heard everything we need to hear. Is that anyone got anything else for closing, or let's wrap this thing up?
Eric, you did say you were reserving something for closing, and I'm not sure if you went through it. Perhaps it was the Kickstarters and other things. You are muted, unfortunately.
All right. I think Mia pretty much answered the key things. What I was going to go through was just the fact that our reputation is really on the line. Moving forward, I hope there's positive results from this hearing, and that we'll certainly be more vigilant and active as being activists against spoofing and gaming of projects. That is something that we believed in from the very start. And looking after our customers is probably our number one as well. And mostly just thank you for everyone for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I just want to add one little thing, which is not a question, but regardless of the outcome here, I just hope that you'll consider sort of further education for the Helium network users, help them understand what true coverage means for these devices, and the notion that it needs to be near a window up high, providing coverage to devices. That's my interest.
That does provide. I'm going to extend us 5 minutes on one important question about a piece of evidence which is submitted. I did not get into. I do want to draw your attention to the manufacturer ethics doc, which I believe was accepted by Deeper. Deeper, do you remember that document? And then the very last paragraph, which I should screen share. Well, it's not really my evidence, but in that document, it does say that manufacturers and makers are responsible for the major partners' actions. And thank you for presenting this.
Yeah, Jeremy, thank you for raising this up. So I signed this document. So I signed this one. I fully understand that's on the first paragraph of it. So as I mentioned, that we are taking fully responsible for what this partner did. And we will do the full refunds. We will do the termination. We have done the termination. And this whole thing already have kind of impact on our overall brand awareness for sure. And so we quite
okay. Just wanted to make certain you were aware of that, and that you're not disputing that document was signed.
Yeah, sure. But we just want to say that I hope you can consider, like, we have to be also responsible for our 5,000 end users and more, like in the communities. Thank you.
Understood. All right. Well, with that, I really want to thank everyone for participating today. I know it has been a little challenging. This format was maybe not what you were expecting. It is something we're trying. And again, it's something I hold myself responsible for, the format and the way it was done and the frustrations with it. I apologize if you're not able to really talk to each other, but that's sort of the design, the hope of better justice, that really the important questions are asked, and things that aren't important just don't happen to be brought up. And we really do focus on what's factually at hand and what is best for the network overall. So with that, again, we will be publishing this recording. We are understandably need to redact some customer information. It's not your fault, anyone who did present that. We'll make certain that's clear going forward to any other trials, but we will only do so to the extent that it covers the privacy information of customers involved, and not to hide any of the important parts of the proceedings, which is important for the public to see at large. Any closing thing, Christina? Do you have anything?
No, I think we're all good. We have put out publicly that the MOC is going to review everything, and we expect to give an update by next Friday.
All right. And with that, I officially close, and thank you all again.
Thank you.
We'll consider.
I have a quick question. I apologize.
Sure.
I understand you guys will have a response by next Friday, but a lot of our community, and in respect to MOC and their requests, we have not spoken about anything regarding this hearing, about this whole situation. And so should we wait until you guys give the final decision until we mention anything, or are we allowed to speak about anything on this case?
Yeah, that is a tricky one. Christina, do you remember what we had sort of talked about that? If you don't, it's
I think we had briefly mentioned that we asked everybody to not publicly discuss this on Discord, but obviously amongst team partners, that's up to the MOC to kind of make the rule on that. But I had just put in the email not to publicly discuss it on Discord, just because there's a lot of information with the community and everybody.
I think in the interest of everyone being able to really control their narrative, we don't want to put a gag on it, especially if we were making this public. I think that was an order before this trial, like not to discuss, what you were talking about before the trial, but I don't think it would be fair to just gag everyone and say, you don't want to talk about what happened. And especially making you have to hold for a week before doing that, I think would be especially unfair. So unless there's objections from the judges here, I think we have to release it, let you speak in whatever way you feel free to do, especially when users know the state. Yeah.
Yeah, no objection.
So
No objection.
that's lifted. That was just for the up to the trial here. Or hearing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I respected those rules. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And again, what we're committing to is if we don't come up with a ruling, we will at least have an update at the latest in a week. We may come to a really rapid decision about how things are going and what the outcome is before then, and we will seek to do so. But we want to make certain to at least commit to publishing our thinking or how things are going by that week. So we're not saying has to wait that long. It hopefully will happen quicker. All right. With that, it looks like the sense of the room, we're all good now. So again, thank you, everyone. And we'll be signing off, and we're letting you know soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good times, right? Yeah, that was a lot of interesting information, and yeah, like some of the things don't match up in regards to the text as far as what was being said. First, it was a distributor. Now, the distributor was actually selling it to a third party. Like, that's all a little bit iffy to me. So, anyhow, I was actually not on YouTube because my YouTube was down at the time when Nick posted this video here. And let me share with you guys. It's a deep dive into deeper ban, and this is a live stream on Monday, and my channel was down at that time, and I didn't get a chance to actually, join it. But I'll add a link so you guys can see what it's all about. And they go through a lot of the questions, and I think it's really important if you're curious about how this works, why they made the decision that they made. And I gotta give them credit. It's not an easy decision to be made. Well, I don't want to say this was somewhat easy. It's not a good position to be in, to be the one saying, hey, this is what we're deciding to do. But they did it. And BFG Neil is a good dude. He doesn't have green hair in this video, but he talks about it, he explains things, and they do a good job, going through the reasoning behind things. So if you guys want to check that out, it's going to be up there. I just made a decision. I'm probably going to give you guys more information than I probably should, but the truth unfiltered things after we roll the credits. But thank you all so much. Smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. I'm definitely going to have to add, time markers to this video because it's going to be a long, long one. I'm going to hang out with you guys while we're doing this thing, but it should be fun. Anyhow, let's do this. All right, I'm back, and I am going to share more than I should, but take a look at this. Inside of that contract that Deeper shared with us that talked about who they were selling to, they did explain, showed the addresses, showed where things were at. And I'm going to share my screen. I'll do the giveaway for that sense cap in just a second here, but take a look at this here. This is in Shanghai where stuff was taking place. And this here, where are we at? So, yep, Lipo Plaza. This is the place where this guy has an address. It's a huge building. It's like a pretty new building. So again, there's tons of money rolling around this thing. But of course, China has literally deleted all Street View images from Google. So I had to jump over to Baidu. So this is it right there. So it's in this little building right there that they had this conversation or agreement with, right? And I just want to make sure you guys understand that this is the map. And if you take a look at this map and you take a look at on the Helium network, Savory Fuchsia Cat is right there where what that building is, and it's definitely on the deny list. And the activity, if you look at it and you go down, I mean, this is all public information, guys. You can go in here and take a look at some of these things. And you're gonna have to scroll down a little bit because they got blocked a while back, but you're gonna see that there is these communications back and forth with other miners, which is interesting because who are they really talking to, right? You're talking to somebody that doesn't exist. Who's on here? Let me see. Oh, right. They're talking to this guy, which is also a deeper. Yeah, also a deeper unit on the deny list. I'm not making this stuff up, guys. Like, that is the building where, the person has an office, or, this is a big skyscraper. Again, ton of money, guys. If you think about it, ton of money. Down payment of $1 million. It's big money stealing big money. That's what's happening. And man, I'll say it this way. Deeper Network does not care about you. And I think a Linus Tech Tip video was the best at explaining this. Linus might care about its users, but Linus company, whatever it's called, does not. They care about profits. That's the same thing with Deeper. People at Deeper might care about you, might care about the infrastructure, the network. But the company itself, they don't care about you. They care about money. Same thing with me. I care about you guys, but every time I say, I'm going to give this thing away, my company, my LLC is like, whoa, what are you doing? You're supposed to make money, not lose money. It doesn't like some of the decisions I make, but I trump what my company wants to do. That is the same thing here. That's what I see. When Deeper decides to send 10,000 units to a distributor before it decides to send it to the user base that bought directly from them, that's hurtful, but it's also business. So people might care. There might be great people working at Deeper Network. The company itself does not care about you. I can say that with ease. The same way that the Helium Foundation might not care about you. The Helium Foundation's purpose is not to help the little guy. No, the Helium Foundation's purpose is to ensure there is a growing network out there that's going to provide connectivity for IoT devices. That's what the Helium Foundation cares about. It does not care about you. There are people at that place that care about you. Yeah, absolutely. They want to help you and be able to help you build whatever it is that you're looking to build. Yes. Are there grants that are going to go out? Yes. But it doesn't mean that the company itself might care for you. So that's my little PSA there. Let's go ahead and give stuff away because that's how we roll. And actually, this is the video. And I told you guys I was going to give that SenseCap unit away, and we're going to do that right now. That is the right video. Blurry adapters. Yeah, I think that's the video. We're going to go ahead and do that right there. That's a link. We're going to filter duplicate users, and we're going to get YouTube comments. Let's see how many people entered to win a free SenseCap M1. 290 people. That's right. Ooh, stronger chain token. All right, so that was the question. So this is a win-win because I did ask a question that I wasn't going to make sure you guys actually answered. So Mr. Zifrin 100, hit me up, bro. I got a SenseCap M1 for you. But we're going to do this again because at the end of that video, I also said that you guys should enter Action Crypto as a hashtag, and I was going to give out NFTs. Now, while this thing is loading and I'm grabbing NFTs, I want to make sure you guys understand that my goal is to make sure you all get stuff. And I'm going to start building some really cool things around NFTs, and my goal is to make sure that you are able to benefit from it. So there's going to be exclusive giveaways for NFT holders only. So if you haven't, an Action Crypto NFT, you're automatically entered to win things. Which is why these things are going to be more and more valuable. There's actually a whole project around it. Action Crypto, great stuff. Got my Deep HNT miner today. Ooh, I wonder if you're able to onboard it. If your name was drawn here, please head over to the Discord and open a ticket. Like, don't direct message me. I have literally hundreds of DMs that I can't get through. My Discord keeps locking up because there's so many DMs and I can't even delete them. So it's kind of crazy. Just open a ticket and I will absolutely answer you. Let's pick one more. Why not? Popa Radu. That was the only thing I asked for was Action Crypto, so I guess you win. I want to get another comment. All right, 3 NFTs this video. Let's go crazy here. Controlled Substance. Still love DPR. Doesn't hurt the project too bad because they have so much great potential still. Yeah, dude, like I am with you there. There is a ton of great potential to what they're doing. It's just a matter of them moving forward and leading this thing behind them. It sucks that it happened, but it gives you a little bit of insight as to where these guys are at too. So I guess it's a win for the people in a sort of way because the token price dumped like crazy. So I definitely picked some stuff up. Yeah, it is what it is, right, guys? Like at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we are able to stay profitable, but we're doing it right. We're doing it right, and hopefully I am doing right by you. So I don't know, I actually never asked this. Share this video with somebody else. I always post a link to the video on Twitter. So if you go on my Twitter page, if you feel like retweeting that out, it helps. If I should get a Facebook group going because that's where all the moms are. This is why I don't record really long videos. I kind of get lost in what's going on, but I'm gonna leave it here. You guys are great. Thank you so much for joining me one more time, and let's do an NFT giveaway for this video. So I do want to know exactly like if you guys are any gems inside of the hearing. So if you put the time code in your comment about that hearing, I'm definitely going to draw some people because I think that's going to help people understand, hey, this matters to me, this is important. So put that time code, but also include the hashtag. We'll do Action Crypto again, that way it's easy for me to find them. So keep that in there. So I'll also put the description inside of that video, but we're here, we're good. Discord only. Don't be emailing people that are scamming people. I hate that. Don't go out and to some random WhatsApp and say they're investing opportunities. If you need my wallet address, get on the Discord and I'll send you my wallet address if you're looking to lose money and send it to somebody. But don't give it to scammers. You guys are awesome. Have a good one. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Give me a high five.